Hey guys, and welcome to another Factorio Friday Facts discussion video. I can barely contain myself. This is probably the best Friday Facts I have ever read, and I've been reading these for like 2.5, 3 years now. It's huge, and there's so much cool stuff, so much good news. This, I want to just let you know before we get into it, you can expect probably a 40-minute to over an hour video. If it gets like it's going to be really long, I may split it into two parts. There's so much to talk about here. It's going to take a long time, so I hope you're ready. As always, I'm here with Will and Mojo.
Hello.
So I heard something big's happening.
I'd actually argue that this is even bigger than the version 13 Friday Fun Facts last year.
And the 12 before that, and the 11, and the 10, the Steam release. It's
huge.
It's practically Factorio 2.
It pretty much almost is like just an expansion pack.
Mm-hmm.
I have so much I want to talk about, and I'm sure you guys have a lot you want to talk about. I don't even know. I guess we'll just start at the top and just work our way down slowly and randomly throw in any other thoughts we have.
Yep. And maybe by the time we're done, it'll be out.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. That'd be great.
I really hope.
We're just going to podcast until it comes out.
I'm down for that. I just went to the store. I got food. Anyway. Okay, so...
It's not going to last.
Yeah. Wait, what did you say?
It's not going to last.
It's not going to last. No kidding. So, space science and 015 graphics. So, you may notice, first off, we have new science pack. Well, not. We have science pack graphics here, and there's the military, production, and high tech, and then there's the additional one, which is the space science. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to...
I wish I'd have known about this.
Huh? Yeah.
Because we didn't include space science in our simulation playthrough for those that watched it. Because we didn't know about it.
No, I get the feeling this was actually a fairly recent addition they've added.
Yeah. From their playthrough, I would imagine.
Yeah. So, we'll just start here. They've reworked science packs and added infinite science. We already knew that. More different science packs make the game a lot more blah. Okay, so reduces the complexity of blue science, which is great for newer players, while adding complexity later. Especially more expensive game modes, and infinite science adds something to do forever. So they say, however, one of the biggest complaints about Factorio always was that the rocket has no purpose, which I think quite a people, I've seen a lot of people complain about that. You know, after launching the rocket, you know, they feel like, well, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
It's a bit unfulfilling, isn't it?
Yeah, they have to look for mods to have more to do.
Yeah.
And we put SpaceX onto the base game to give rocket launchers more purpose.
Exactly. So they say that for me, there's one main reason why Factorio is so awesome, why I can forget myself until 4 a.m. I'm pretty sure we all know that feeling.
4 a.m. That's weak. Yeah. Try 6 a.m.
6 a.m. And that reason is the infinite loop of there's always a bottleneck. So what they've done is they've added space science, which we'll go into down here, but pretty much what it is you get the special science pack for launching rockets, and the infinite research actually requires these new special science packs. So it actually gives launching the rocket a purpose now if you want to progress like pretty far into the research tree.
Yeah. And just doing some off the top of the head maths, that makes those science packs stupidly expensive because you have to launch a rocket, which is not cheap.
No, but you do, what we'll see down here, you do get 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
Depends how many packs goes into the infinite research. Like, does 1,000 give you one, half of one, two?
Well, we were using the numbers in our simulation playthrough, and they've confirmed that was correct.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they'll just have the space ones probably be the same as what, like, the same amount that the other ones are in there. Maybe, maybe not. But anyway, the one thing we were talking about before the video is this, like, kind of loop or this circular thing of, like, progression on this picture below science packs. It doesn't entirely make sense. Which...
Yeah, what is the context of it?
Yeah, I understand the steam engine to the furnace, right? Because it powers that, and then the furnace makes the plates, which goes into the the assembler. And
Yeah.
I'm not really sure why there's a chemical plant involved going to the lab, and then the lab to the biter makes like no sense.
I think the chemical plant is meant to represent the next level of stuff.
Okay.
So you make
That
like
is
iron
true.
plate, and then the chemical plant will make like batteries and stuff like that. I think it's meant to represent it goes into more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Chemical plants required for the higher tiers. That is true.
Yeah, I think that's what it's meant to represent. You know,
Right.
You have your plate, basic items, more items, rockets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that makes sense. The biter, I really don't understand that necessarily, especially now that they don't require, like, that they don't drop goop or anything that you would need.
I guess it's just pollution, more attacks, deal with biters.
Yeah.
Need more power because of lasers. Background to power again, and round it goes again.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless they're dependent in a new way that hasn't been revealed.
That is true. There's probably some hidden stuff. So moving down, but pretty much this is just what I explained a minute ago. When 015 adds infinite science, I started to ask myself, why would I launch the rocket at all? And I see many of you ask similar questions. So to compare the two, the infinite science is also quantifiable, as I can see the amount I produced in the production screen. So that's kind of a way you can like measure, how your factory has done or is doing better than the rockets. And pretty much, let me scroll down further. We now see that the rocket, it now shows this green arrow bringing the space science packs back into your system.
Yeah, you can see in the little picture there's two inserters by the player pulling stuff out of the silo, which will be the science packs.
Yeah, exactly. So, they just say here you get 1,000 of these packs per rocket, and every infinite research requires these science packs. So yeah, pretty much, the minor ones and the robot ones, and actually some additional ones, which we'll get into a little later, you pretty much can't do those until late game, right? Because you have to launch a rocket before you even have the capability of getting the packs to do it. And it's actually going to be really costly. If you want more than like one or two, you're going to have to launch a lot of rockets.
Yeah, like my chat's saying, and we said earlier, to do our 1,000 packs a minute, which is what our simulation map does, you need to launch a rocket a minute to supply that.
Exactly.
So you have to have one rocket a minute base as a science pack production, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. So your rocket launches now pretty much just become science pack production.
Yeah, you have to have a one rocket a minute base on the main bus.
Yeah, that should be fun.
just yeah. What's that? Oh, it's one rocket a minute.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's just part of our science pack production.
it's just research. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
So down in this next paragraph, they say we've also added more infinite researches. So now, in addition to the worker robot speed, combat robot follower count, and mining productivity, they also added pretty much infinite research for all combative damage upgrades, except, not shooting speed. So pretty much just all combat damage stuff. I would imagine that's gun turret, laser, bullet.
I see that getting very dangerous with flamethrowers.
Yeah, although I think they are nerfing the flamethrower quite a lot.
Yeah, they were.
But with damage upgrades.
Yeah, that is true.
Lots of damage upgrades.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fire.
Yeah, that's a lot of fire. It's a lot of ouches.
You just touch yourself with it, dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pretty much. So
I wonder if there's an infinite armor upgrade as well.
Oh, that would be ridiculous.
Or shield research or something.
Yeah, that could be pretty cool. I like in the image where it shows the rocket progress, 666 science packs. So the rocket has to have a satellite in it in order to get the science pack. So this is an important note because you can't just be launching rockets without your satellites if you want these packs. So this is really cool, though. The rocket silo now has an auto launch checkbox, which we can see here, so you can launch them automatically. And the launch is only going to happen when you insert satellite, so you can control the inserter with satellite to only launch rockets when you need the science packs automatically through the circuit network. So you can control the, if you see in that image, like near the very top, there's a long hand inserter putting the satellite in that's hooked to the circuit network.
Yep.
So that's kind of what that would do.
Or you just let the science packs back up.
Yeah, that too. That would work. That's probably what we would do.
Here's a question, actually.
Oh.
If you have a rocket
Yeah.
inventory full of science packs and you launch a rocket, will the inventory overflow or will you lose packs?
I'd imagine it would just overflow to stupid and more stupid numbers.
Yeah, I would almost
And what
have
happens
to.
if you pick up the silo? You could poop it all over the floor.
Yeah.
Anti-elites it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's a really good point. I would imagine they would at least have a very high limit on it, so you don't just lose your packs.
Yeah. And if you have productivity modules in the silo, do you get more than 1,000?
I doubt it, because the productivities only affect the rocket building, not the. Speaking of which,
Yeah, and you do get you get the same number of packs for less material input with the productivity.
well, yeah.
So there's already that benefit, and that's consistent with productivity.
And they also say they've added support for mods. You can define what you get for sitting a rocket, and depending on what you put in the rocket, say if you put a tank in the rocket, you receive 100 raw fish, because that would make perfect sense. So I think there's a lot of modding capability.
I kind of want to do that. I want to do that.
Just.
But no,
I understand that.
now, is that a storage tank or tank?
I think a tank.
You launch a tank and a Mazuri appears.
Yeah, that would be great. You can just have Madzuris running all around your factory. So that's kind of that deal. We can build upon this concept in the future, but for now, this already brings a lot of sense to the game. So I feel like I want to talk a little bit more about the space thing before we move on, because my initial reaction to this was like kind of negative at first, because I was just like, well, it kind of messes up the plans, if you just wanted to do a full science base and no rockets. And I think you guys, I know you agreed, Will, that, it's actually probably a really good thing for the game.
Oh, yeah.
And
if you don't do it on a big scale, you'll be there for hours. You'll never get bored.
Yeah, exactly. And
if you do it at a big scale, it won't be fast enough, so you still want to do it faster.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so, I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, this is actually really, really good, I think, and gives the rocket more of a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And
instead of having the two separate
research, so.
Yeah, say what, Mojo?
Instead of having the two separate, so launching rockets for no end other than making that rocket launch counter go up, and then having the separate science, it integrates the two.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it will still...
It brings it more consistent.
If you launch a rocket with a satellite, will it still give you the victory condition? And will it still give you a counter? Or is that just completely obsolete now? And there is no official end to the game.
That's an interesting question. I hope it at least gives you a counter, because, some of us need that for stuff. Like, if you're going to launch rockets for your followers or whatever.
Well, that's just silly. Who would ever think of doing? Oh wait.
Yeah, that's you. Oh wait.
It's easy enough to have that modded.
Yeah, we might have to mod that back in.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure it would be easy enough to do.
You can they would actually be integrated into a scenario map, that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm. So going down, this is some of the craziest spaghetti I have ever seen.
I need to fix that.
This, well, I think we might be able to once 15 comes out. The
no, now.
Oh, now, yeah, I'd love to fix this now too, because that means we get 015 early. So
I might just have to Photoshop this image to fix it. I can't look at this.
Yeah, look at this. Yeah, and this is a small version. Once that this Imager album that is linked for the factory is pretty ridiculous. I'm gonna go over to it for the video for a second here. This is some this is ridiculous. I don't think I've ever seen a factory that is this I don't even know the word for it.
It's beyond spaghetti.
Yeah, it's beyond spaghetti.
Artistic spaghetti.
Pretty much. I think it's intentional.
It is intentional. I was looking at it before we started, and I can actually see stuff as being split off belts and then just fed around, and then it goes through the loops, then back in on itself. It's designed to look like that. It's not designed to be functional.
Right. Which, I mean, I think it looks pretty cool. I mean, it may not be super functional, but it's pretty crazy. I mean, there's a belt almost in every possible place a belt can go. It's just
yeah, and that's what they tried to do.
Yeah.
It's almost
just to fill
objective,
factory, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna go through this whole thing. So guys watching, Friday Facts is always linked in the description, and then within it here you can just open this album yourself and check it out. I definitely suggest looking through it because there's some new things you might notice, and just a lot of cool stuff there. But now we get into this is I mean, this first part, it was cool. The space science and stuff is pretty cool. But now we get into the part that just sent me over the edge. All right, so
we may need to cool him down at this point.
Yeah, this is.
He's yeah.
I don't know.
You desperately need that cooling tower that was axed.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. So, nuclear power. I hope you guys are ready for this. Better strap yourselves in. Here is our nuclear power graphics. This is absolutely stunning. Like, I mean, I don't even know what to say. I mean, what do you guys think?
It was worth the wait. It was worth the wait, and I take back
Yes.
any criticism and frustration over the last few weeks. It was worth it, and I am sorry for my impatience. Because, wow.
Yeah, I was pretty much going to say the same thing. I want to say, because I know some of the devs watch this, and I know we and I were kind of, critical. And I mean, there is no denying it took quite a while to make these, and that's why we were impatient, but it was worth the wait, and I can see why it took a while, because these are absolutely magnificent. I mean, these are definitely probably the most complicated graphics we have in the game now.
Yeah, just looking at these mining drills in detail, like...
I know, it's unbelievable. It's like...
And I love the Factorio theme as well. It's not neat and perfect. They are just like, they look like they've been made out of scrap metal or bits and pieces lying around. They're not like precision made, which is the Factorio feel. And they fit
sort of
so
gritty
well.
industrial look.
Yeah, it's...
What do they call it? Diesel punk or something?
Steampunk, kind of. Or diesel punk.
Yeah, there's steampunk, and then there's diesel. There's actually a diesel punk as well.
Interesting. Okay, so
apparently
these, yeah, like Will said, these look perfect, and you guys are probably noticing and wondering, you guys being the people watching, because we haven't gotten there yet, but there's pipes going to the miners. So once we get down through the screenshot, we're not done yet, but the miners for mining uranium actually require sulfuric acid to do so, which I think is a really, really interesting mechanic they've added in.
Definitely, straight away, that's logistic nightmare, and a use for the tanker wagon straight away.
Oh yeah, it's
it comes back to integrating all the different features, or all the different different components. So instead of everything being isolated, you have to bring more things into sort of build up.
Yeah.
So instead of just mining more things, you now have to think about logistics of mining and managing more advanced mining.
Yeah, and you think about it, you run out of oil, so you run out of acid, which means you run out of nuclear mining, which means you run out of power, which means you run out of oil.
Pretty much. So
And another way of the whole thing just falling apart if you don't manage it properly.
Which I think is cool, and I think just the general idea behind using sulfuric acid in these to get the uranium is really cool. You know, you know, it's a really cool idea, and it does say under, like, below the picture, and you can see in this picture, it won't be as bad, I think, as we may think, because it can transfer between adjacent miners.
Yeah, so you can.
Yeah, you can actually see there's pipe connections.
Yeah, pipe
on every.
Yeah.
On every side, which doesn't have the miner output.
Yeah, and they link to each other as well, so you only have to plug it in one spot, and it'll all just link to itself.
Exactly. I mean, of course, you still have to bring the acid there, but at least you're not, like, running pipes all the way through your whole mining thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So moving down, I mean, this is just, these are so cool.
Down to the reactor. Still on the same picture.
I'm still on this. I'm down to the centrifuge.
Centrifuge, yeah.
It's just, like, I mean, the detail is unbelievable. It's like, in the assembling machine, you'll notice that's actually in high graphics, high res too, which is cool.
Yeah.
But screw that for now, because this is just, so the centrifuge, we take the uranium ore and insert it in, and it will explain down below, but then you get pretty much two different things out, a much higher chance for one than the other, which we'll go into detail to in a minute. But so this is how you get your actual, like, things that are going to be usable after you put them in an assembler, which are then usable in your reactors. So now down to the reactor. This thing is nuts.
Yeah. Looks like a lab gone wrong, doesn't it?
I know. This may sound weird, but when I first saw this, the first thing that came to mind was, like, Frankenstein's monster. I mean, it looks like, in that, I mean, that's not, like, a negative at all. It just looks, it looks like a really, like, janky, like, potentially, like, extremely dangerous reactor someone's just thrown together, which is perfect, because as you said, that's, like, exactly the Factorio theme.
Yeah, it's not precision engineering, it's just bolted things together and it somehow works.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it looks like it's on the verge of just, like, if one thing goes wrong, he'll just blow up the whole world. But it, oh God, it's just so cool. All these pipes running through, and, like, the little, like, view windows.
Yeah. We should say that there's
Glowing
going to be two types of pipe as well. There's going to be the steam pipe, which is these coppery ones going from the new boilers, which are now 2x3 instead of 1x1.
And actually, a quick note there that these are actually not the boilers. And I was really confused, like, too. These are actually the heat, like, because they look pretty much identical, but it's actually two. These are heat exchangers, and then there's the boiler, which is separate, which is kind of confusing. But yeah, so these heat pipes, this is cool, because I'm really glad they didn't, like, just use normal pipes for that.
That'll get even more confusing.
Yeah. But, I mean, I think these are fairly distinctive as heat pipes. But yeah, so they go into these heat exchangers, which then send heated steam, that looks like. Yeah, because there's water being fed into it. And then it creates steam, which goes to the steam turbines down here.
Now, those turbines are interesting, as it goes on to say.
Yeah, it seems like there's like two different, it's completely separate from the steam engine. So as we move down, you can see the whole process starts with a mining drill, new uranium ore graphics. It glows at night, which is super cool. Use that instead of, like, night vision. Since mining uranium requires sulfuric acid, we need to add a new patch for pipe connection. The acid flows between the neighboring miners, so that's what we said. So the first step of uranium processing happens at the centrifuge, which creates U-238 and U-234 in certain percentages. Most of the time you get U-238, but sometimes you get 235. When you get 235, you can turn it into uranium fuel cell, which goes into the nuclear reactor. Which brings up a point then. What do you do with the 238?
Yeah, it's not quite clear what's going on. I guess 238 might be used for weapons.
Yeah, if I recall, the 238 goes into a centrifuge, is a separate process. What do they call it? Kovacs process, because it's not based on real life, and you get 235 out, but you need a lot of 238 to get a bit of 235. If I recall previous Friday facts.
Okay. Yeah. Your chat seems to be confirming that. That would make sense.
Yeah. It's the Kovacs enrichment process or something.
Okay.
Because it's slightly magic, because it's not how real life works. But
yeah, I mean that's fine.
Kind of real life, but not enough.
Yeah, but then it's a balance of realistic and making the game playable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because real life is actually not very playable. It's boring.
Yeah. So now this is where we get into the process, which is quite interesting. The nuclear reactor heats up and transfers the heat to heat exchangers, which are the things that look almost identical to boilers, optionally via heat pipes. So this is optionally, so I'm not sure how you would send it without a heat pipe.
Get direct.
Oh, just directly. Oh yeah, just smack up right against it.
Yeah, but to do a bigger build, you need to distribute it.
Yeah.
So the heat exchanger accepts water and outputs steam, which then goes to the steam turbines, which generate power. So essentially, and again, we'll get into it more farther down, but essentially this setup just completely replaces your steam engine, from what I gather. It doesn't, like when they first announced nuclear and explained it, I had the impression that you would have your reactor, it'd go into the heat exchangers, and then those would send steam to steam engines.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Or Mark II steam engines or something.
Yeah, but it seems like we just have this steam turbine, which is just a completely separate thing. So your steam engines aren't even involved now if you go full nuclear.
Yeah, which makes sense. Because they say somewhere here that you can use them, but you will lose out if you do.
Yeah, you can substitute the turbine for steam engines, but you lose the excess heat.
Yeah.
From the 500 degrees. So you just burn off all that energy for no reason.
Yeah.
Or you can use the boilers on the turbine.
Yeah, but not fully.
Yeah,
but
you end up with a huge efficiency loss again. Yeah,
because you're not going to give the turbines the heat that they want, because they want 500, but they only give 165, and vice versa. The steam engines only can take 165, but if you give them 500, you're just wasting it. But I guess desperate times may call desperate measures in certain situations, so you can do it. You're just not advised to.
So then below that, we see some pictures of depleted uranium rounds, and Will is quite excited about one of these parts. The centrifuge can do a few other processes which are useful for getting more U-235 and reutilizing burnt out fuel cells into more U-238. Okay, so like the U cells, you can stick back in the process and try to get more. And then, even though it's one of the most expected things we probably didn't mention before, that you can make uranium ammo and tank shells from 238 and U-235, so the more rare one, can be used to create warheads for rocket launcher missiles, which erase about 50 tile area per shot of anything in the way,
including exterminators. I mean, people.
Yeah. So you got yourself some gardening tools. Radioactive gardening tools.
Those forests are never going to know what hit them.
Again, me.
I will end all trees.
Oh, I'm going to die so much. But yeah, so this is crazy. This is gonna be. I just can't even talk. I'm so excited. I'm just stumbling over my words. So, kind of like what you guys discussed, and I wasn't there yet, but just so the YouTube viewers can see now that I'm at the paragraph, the heat exchangers or essentially output 500 degree steam, whereas the boilers only do 165, which is what you said. So essentially, in your like full nuclear setup, you're not going to want steam engines or boilers, right? You're going to want the heat exchangers going into the steam turbines, because the turbines can accept the 500 degree heat, whereas the steam engines can only accept 125. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, you can, like you said, use boilers, because it says 500 degrees is the maximum a steam turbine can utilize. So I suppose actually you could probably, maybe you could do like 3 boilers or something going into one steam turbine, and it would work at full efficiency, because it's like 500 or whatever that would be.
I wonder if you could figure out a way to split the heat down so you could use it with steam engines instead of turbines.
You just want to use turbines, don't you? It's less entities. It's less. You probably do
Just
it
simpler,
direct
yeah.
insert.
It sounds like the two will just inevitably end up always separate, but we'll see what happens when Tuesday comes around.
Yeah, so it's coming out Tuesday. That's they snuck it in at the very end. It's coming out Tuesday, so I hope everyone's ready.
Oh yeah, you probably won't.
Yeah. Thanks for the spoiler,
Yeah,
Mojo.
Yeah.
But anyway, it is coming out Tuesday. You need to be ready, because this is going to be ridiculous. So this is actually really important, though. This other paragraph below the steam engine picture, they've changed the boiler to be a 2x3 instead of a 1x1. So this is a quick note. If you're gonna try to load up like a 014 factory, which they did say will technically work. I mean, you can technically load it, but a lot of your stuff is gonna break if you're using like anything to do with boilers, because they're gonna be an entirely different size. Same goes for pumps. I think they said pumps are changing size.
Pumps are 1x2 now. 1x3, something like that. Not a 1x1 anyway.
Yeah. And then this is really important. The ratio of boilers to steam engines is exactly 1 boiler to 2 steam engines now. So gone will be the days of the 11410 and the other one, the
1.5 2015.
Yeah, that one. It's going to be pretty straightforward, I'd imagine now. I mean, obviously there's going to be like a max that you can do, but it's just literally going to be double the steam engines to your boilers.
Mm-hmm. Nice and simple.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah.
Because most people didn't really, when they're starting out, they don't play around with steam engines much. They pretty much place a few down, get frustrated because that never works, and then just look up the 11410.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The right angle of the fluid input and output of the boiler is interesting, though. It means the water flowing in. It suggests to me that the water flowing through it flows through a number, potentially. A number of boilers, that is.
Yeah, this is actually, now that you mention it, that is interesting. Yeah, because the water flows through it, and now it outputs steam. It doesn't output the water like it does now.
Yeah.
So
you have to input the water from top or bottom.
Mm-hmm. And then the steam outputs to the side.
Yeah. Which then runs straight into your steam engines.
And then can you pass through as much water as the pipe will allow?
And how do you get the fuel into the boilers in all of this?
Yeah. It's going to be rather interesting.
Yeah, it should be quite interesting, actually.
Yeah.
So then moving down, high resolution graphics. So we already knew about this, but there's quite a few in here that I think they've kind of like snuck in while people were waiting for other people, like in their dev team. Because there's definitely ones here that they had not mentioned previously that are now going to be high res. I
think I know about most of these. Huh?
Yeah, we knew about most of these, but the assembling machines weren't initially, and
It makes sense.
yeah,
Though.
car.
As I was reading this list, most of these items are all used late game.
Mm-hmm.
Anything missing there is generally not used that much. These are the most highly used objects.
Yeah, that is very true.
It's like they prioritized what you see the most.
Yep, which makes sense.
Except for inserts.
Yeah.
They need to be next, I'd say.
Yeah, and I think they are, but I was reading through the forum discussion, and they say it's going to be extremely complicated since the inserters, have to like rotate and stuff. Like always, they said it's going to be really hard, but that is their next priority. So this is really cool. This is like my second favorite picture. Everything in the following picture except inserters is in high res. The high resolution train integration is still in progress, so it won't make it to 15 right away. So I'm suspecting, in one of the other like experimental builds of 15, they'll implement that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just...
Hopefully that'll come in a following month or two.
Yeah, I would think so. After they bug fix the major things. Yeah. This is just so beautiful looking.
Yeah. Hey, where do we start? The ore, love it. Mining drills, love it. Track, oh my god.
Oh god, the track.
The pumps for the rail tanker. The bolt, the rock just under the refinery. The train. The locomotive itself, like that orange one facing down.
Oh yeah. Even the stone furnaces.
Yeah.
In the oh my gosh, and the assemblers and the electric furnaces, the pipes.
There's even the speaker looks pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
it's like a propaganda tower.
Mm-hmm, yeah, your programmable speaker.
Yeah. I like the rock as well. Yeah, I think I've said that. Yeah, the rock.
I'd make a nice change for the terrain.
Yeah, these
visuals.
The red desert underneath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these rocks are. Now, are these just like the big rocks now that we can mine for like 20 stone?
I think so. That's what it looks like to me.
Well, damn, I'm not mining those now. They're too good looking. Like seriously, it fits in almost really well to things that you wouldn't want to get rid of them.
I want to be able to craft them and place them.
Yeah. Little like paper mache rocks.
So there's two things that stand out for me that's not so good. You look at the coal and the iron ore on the belt, it stands out because it doesn't look high res compared to the rest.
Yeah, and the inserts.
Yeah.
But then they get there.
And the pump out of the fluid tank, but I'd need to see it in game to make a final judgment on it. My suspicion is it looks a little bit too busy.
Wait, what?
The actual graphic.
Oh, you mean the pump?
So the pump out of the rail tanker.
Well, it's compressed right now as part of the thing because it raises up and hooks into the top when it's actually pumping out.
Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah, but when you look at it, there's a lot going on.
True. Yeah, I mean it is pretty busy, but I mean, it's just so cool.
As I say, you need to see it in game.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than sort of a poster shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that you can change the colour of the stations. Like the station that this orange train is stopped at matches its stop, and then there's a blue station going the other way. There's obviously for a different train, even though it's not possible for a train to get there because the signalling is wrong. But
yeah.
That's one of the many giveaways that this is a poster shot, not an actual gameplay.
Yeah.
I also have to question what the hell is going on with that belt on the right hand side.
Oh, the top.
There's 4 different. The right hand side by the rail tanker. There's 4 different items on that belt. What's
man.
Yeah, you don't want to look into it too much because like none of the assemblers actually output anywhere.
No, it's just for show. But also, I do notice they've changed the rail signal graphics, which I quite like. They look a bit different, or at least more polished.
And they're high res now.
Yeah, I think that was in a Friday Fun Facts going back a few, one of the rail updates.
Yeah.
They showed off those graphics.
I love that track.
Oh, God, it's so nice. Now, last thing for me on this image that catches my eye and is kind of weird to me is you see the normal signal after the blue station on the left by the chemical plant. Does that look wonky to
Yeah.
you? It looks like warped.
It is. It does look like it's sitting on an angle, like the lamps are sitting on an angle.
Yeah, yeah, they're like tilted, which is
It's tilted towards the track, which would be the direction of travel.
yeah. I'm not
Opposite direction
sure
of
because
travel.
the other one doesn't really look like that. The one above it. So maybe it's just like the angle at which that you're looking at it. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It's not really anything that you would really notice unless you're like super nitpicky. But yeah, I mean this is just amazing. So we look through that, and here's a picture of the normal pump too down here at the very bottom, like this what would now be the small pump.
Yeah, which I think is just being renamed to pump because there is no bigger one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they sit.
And that's 1x2. Yeah, you can tell by compared to a mining drill.
So, yeah, they say down here that in 0.15 stabilization they'll be adding more high-res graphics and hope to do everything. So that'll be great. Now down here, the Gui Reskin, or GUI, because people have told me that I should just say GUI, and new icons. For a long time we have been keeping some placeholder icons. We want to replace the skin of the GUI in 0.15 already. Here is how it looks like now. So I think there's a bit of discussion here because some of these look really great and some of these I pretty highly question.
Yeah, I'm not. This was probably the only point of contention for me out of all of the things that the Friday Fun Facts shows.
Same here. So
I like
module.
I can't see any problem with it.
I'd start with the modules. It's different, but the more you look at it, you say, yeah, it's actually cleaner and more obvious which is a level 1, 2, and 3.
That is true. And I was initially a little bit dubious about productivity being red, but as the others are still blue and green, I can live with it being red.
I think that just comes down to them being different.
Yeah, the modules, I actually kind of like the modules, and just a quick note here, in the second row at the very right, you do see the heat pipe, so it is a separate entity that you build.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of these do look, I mean, I would say pretty much all of them look really great. My main point of, that I don't really like here is the train and cargo wagon.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about those.
Especially the train.
It's like a little mini train. I mean, it looks
a little stumpy thing.
You know what that's like? It looks like it's one that we've been driving by hand, and it's sort of bumped into something, and it's just got.
Yeah, it does.
It's just
it looks like it's been through like a hydraulic press. It's I mean, that's really.
Been to Finland.
Yeah. Those two are really my only complaints here. They just seem way too compressed. Like the ones we currently have in 0.14. I mean, those are, of course they're not high res or anything, but they're like reasonably sized, right? In the icon.
They're distinct enough that you can recognize them, and I think that's where the problem lies.
Yeah, these are kind of hard. I mean, the locomotive, you can't really even tell it's a locomotive unless you look super carefully.
It's just a red blob. You have to squint at it.
It's a little red box, pretty much. So those two are really the only ones. The rail tanker, it only shows one, but I think you can actually build them. Like, you can make it so you place down just one, and you can connect multiple ones to get your bigger rail tankers. So.
That's an interesting thought, actually. I hadn't really studied the rail tanker one, but you could confuse it with a construction bot.
Well, it does look somewhat similar, but I mean, the construction bot, I mean, it does look, yeah. I mean, the rail tanker, I think is okay. It's mostly the other two.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more the other two.
I love the turrets, and I really love that nuclear ammo.
Oh, yeah.
The glowing green.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks so great. And even the Destroyer Bot one looks quite nice. The one right next to the nuclear ammo. I think that's a Destroyer Bot.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Uh,
I'm pretty sure that's Destroyer.
uh,
There's a few that do stand out that I wasn't so convinced of, and that was the one next to the discharge defense, which I think is a Mark II shield. It sort of just becomes a red blob
where do you see that? Oh, the shield?
Oh yeah,
next to the legs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
The other one is what I assume to be landfill,
I love
but I can see
landfill.
where
The
they're
little
going with that one.
landfill, the
It's
little
sort
turf.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I
pretty
kind of
cool.
like that one, actually.
that's cute, but it sort of gets lost.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, and we haven't, of course, they only showed one tab, but I mean the rest
That's
of these
true.
I really like. The boiler, the steam engine one looks way better than the current one, and the turbines and stuff. So this is super cool. Aside from, yeah, I would hope maybe they come back to the train. I can't talk. The
Too excited.
I'm too excited. The train thing and the cargo thing. Hopefully they come back to
Oh, dear.
those and maybe do a little bit.
Just say the thing with Bob. We know what you
the
mean.
thing in the Bob Doohickey.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
you know, that's really the only complaints there. We can move down, I think, to the tech tree thing, which...
Actually, just one other thing. You notice that blueprints and lights are not in that window anymore.
Oh, it's a very good point. I wonder where they would have moved those. Not intermediates, I wouldn't imagine. Probably just the first tab, maybe.
The first tab has a lot in it already.
Real thanks for the sub.
Maybe they put copper wire and stuff back in the intermediates to clean it up. I don't know.
Copper wire's already in the intermediates. That was moved in 13.
Oh, well,
Yeah, where it belongs.
yeah, whatever. Maybe they move stuff.
It's probably with combinate. I'll bet the lights are with combinators.
They're not makes sense. I've also just spotted that heat pipes. There's no underground heat pipes.
No, but
Could that
based
be a
on the
problem?
graphics, it looks like you would actually be able to run over those. You know, they...
Yeah, from the nuclear reactor image.
Yeah, those look like something you might be able to run over like a belt. I hope. Otherwise, that could be a problem.
Yeah. Can we go to the research? Because I really want to talk about the big explosion-y thing that I need to research.
Yeah, research.
Yes.
I
Time
need
for
to-
research.
I need to research the big mushroom cloud, please. More faster.
Yeah, so this wasn't actually mentioned. Unless that's just the warhead for the rocket launcher.
I reckon I'm taking it that you have to research the warhead item, which I really need in my life.
God. Please no, not when I'm playing with you. So
you leaving the game when we
yep,
research
pretty
it.
much.
There'll be why is there a power shortage? We're low on power. We had loads of nuclear fuel.
Boom, boom, boom. Sorry, guys.
Will found a stash.
I can see that happening.
We'll
I'm not
weaponize
worried
our
what I'm
power.
going to do
Yeah.
to it. Because I accidentally hit shoot all the time and set fire or shotgun the base. God, if I have that thing equipped.
Oh God. We're all screwed. So
Just imagine it in the hands of D3 Phoenix.
yeah. I am a bit the graphic for that research doesn't seem to fit. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
It doesn't.
It looks a
It's
bit
not to
hurried.
the quality of the others.
No, and maybe it's a placeholder. I mean, I don't know, but it's not to the quality, and it just isn't really to the theme either. But
It seems to suggest it's a late edition.
yeah, I think this is something they added pretty recently that maybe they just haven't fleshed out the icon. I mean, that's no big deal. It's just a comment, really.
The ammo looks cool.
Oh
The
God, they
bullets.
look so cool. The
So shiny, so chromy.
other two researches, Well, the one is turning the depleted cells into the U thing again. The other one, I'm not entirely sure what that actually is going to allow you to do. Because, I mean, it shows the ore, but I wouldn't think they would lock the ability to mine the ore behind such a late research.
Probably enrichment. So it'll be the
Using
2
the
for
bad
weapon,
one.
enrichment, and then reprocessing.
Oh, very good point. Yep. And then we go down to new map colors. So I mean, this is pretty much what they showed. I think they changed the colors a bit in a previous Friday Facts, but this is very similar to the enhanced map colors mod now, but a little bit different colors in that mod. So it looks good unless your base is super spaghetti. Then this actually, well, it actually does look a little bit like spaghetti.
Much better contrast than current.
Yeah, way better contrast than current.
Although it does edge on just being different colors of the same thing, whereas currently it's all blues, whereas now it's blue, red, yellow.
True.
Or blues and reds previously. Blue, red, grey, and now it's blue, yellow, red.
True.
Still much clearer, much more contrast. The only thing catching my eye is the trains are a bit harder to spot.
Yeah, that's true. The white loco gets a little bit lost in amongst the blue and the yellow.
I suspect it's more that particular image with all that mess about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then when you have pollution on, the co-op one can get lost in the pollution haze. So
that's true.
That with pollution on it might show a bit better because that would be a white train on a red background. If you have the pollution overlay on.
So that pretty much concludes it. And as Mojo spoiled earlier, last paragraph is the best part. You'll be able to help us play and test this coming Tuesday. So we got, the hell day is it? Friday? We got Saturday, Sunday. We got 3 days. Unless, well, Mojo, you're a little bit ahead. Well, not really. It's still the same.
Wednesday for me.
So
I should also point out that I'm pretty sure I haven't actually spoiled it because I wouldn't be surprised if most people already knew that it's coming out Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was somewhat obvious. And just a couple last things I want to mention. First of all, because this was confusing and I saw someone ask in the forum discussion and one of the devs answered, the mining drills we see up here on uranium, right? These are not separate mining drills from the normal ones because I wondered the same thing. And a dev confirmed that it only displays this graphic, like with the special sulfuric acid pipes and stuff, when you place it on uranium.
That explains it.
Because I was like, oh damn, do we have like a special mining drill for it? But they did confirm that if you place it on uranium, it looks like this. If you place it on any other ore, it looks like the one we showed in this other bottom picture, like a normal one.
I think it would be kind of better to have a separate entity. I think that would be...
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. I mean, maybe later on they'll do that. That would be nice.
I prefer them combined because then you don't need uranium miners and then regular miners.
But I think that would be a good thing to have because it's a different ore. It's special. And the drills are different because they take a liquid. I don't see how you could... you'd build one that you built at the very beginning that's been mining coal all its life. You now pick it up and dump it over on this uranium ore, and suddenly it's got all these pipe connections, but it didn't have them to begin with. The recipe for these ones should be more expensive, should take pipe and stuff like that. I'd say that they should be a separate entity, but that's just me.
Nah, I'm not so keen on that because then you end up with one entity per type.
No, you have one for the uranium ore and then your normal one.
Or you end up with miners specific to certain ore types. and that's getting into the Bob's Mod territory again. Where you have your Mark IIs, your Mark IIIs, and all these unique items for specific purposes.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I think actually a fair bit of this could maybe change as we go through 15, you know, as people actually play it and give feedback and stuff. But yeah, so that pretty much covers it. This was actually about an hour-long video, but I think that's okay. Congrats and thank you to everyone who actually made it to the end here. This is I mean, I just keep scrolling up to the nuclear power thing. I can't stop looking at these.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
This is just, oh my gosh, it's just so cool. And I want to mention, I just want to throw this out here as kind of a thank you and kind of just showing appreciation to the devs, because I know they had gotten a fair bit of flack lately. This is absolutely crazy in terms of what they're giving us for like what we paid, I guess. You know, we bought Factorio. It was like $20, or if you bought it earlier at a higher tier, a bit more than that. They have put so much work into this and given us all these amazing things for free, essentially, right? I mean, like, you know, I'm just thinking about it, and some people had said this in the forum discussion, and I think it's worth bringing up, is, you know, how awesome and, like, you know, just honest and non-money hungry this dev team is, because most other games would release this as like 3 different DLCs.
The big publishers would,
you know,
yes.
they'd be like, well, here's your nuclear DLC, $20. Here's your infinite science and space science DLC, another $20, so on and so forth. And it's like, you know, these devs have been working on this for months, and, you know, sure, it took a long time. We're impatient. We complained, but I mean, just looking at these graphics, it's like the work that went into this is just pure, like, passion based on their part, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost tempted to buy the game again.
Yeah, me too. I mean, this is unbelievable. I really can't, you know, express the thanks. I mean, this is just, it's crazy. The work that's gone into this and the dedication, all for free pretty much at this point.
Yeah, for everyone that's bought the game.
So I just wanted to throw that in there, you know, best dev team I've ever had the pleasure of working with.
Yeah. Definitely.
And 3 more days, and I may not eat.
We may never sleep again.
I may not eat, and that is saying a lot.
You had it here first.
All right.
You got to be held to that now.
Yep.
I may. I honestly, I don't know, man. I'm not sure if I'll make it after, like, Wednesday. I may just be dead. This is just, I won't even know where to start. So, are there any other thoughts you guys want to go over here before I call it for the video?
I guess we'll just say that we'll be around as soon as it does release. So, taking the first look at it, like, we'll be sat there refreshing. So as soon as it's out, we'll be around.
Yep.
And yeah, we'll be checking it out. So if you want to see that, then we'll be definitely here. I'll be streaming. Someone is going to spit out like 4,000 videos.
Yep, I'm going to do an overview of the major features Will's going to be streaming. So plenty of ways for you guys to check it out. I'm sure most people will actually probably be playing and having the streaming or video content like on another monitor at the same time. Because, I mean, really, you'd be pretty nuts to just watch it and not actually play it. But I think that'll do it. Any last thoughts for you, Mojo, here?
No, I think we've covered everything. We went through nice and slow. And I've gone through everything I can remember that I thought of.
I guess the only other thing to say is this is not even everything that's in this version. There's lots of little things still not mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is.
Just little quality of life stuff and...
Yeah, this is not even close to the full change log. of everything they're adding.
Like the train speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the little spoilers that our seating shared with us and other stuff I'm sure they haven't even mentioned. It's pretty overwhelming.
The changelog is going to come out in different volumes.
Yeah. I mean, it really is going to take people probably an hour just to read the changelog fully. But
I'll have to do a changelog stream.
yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Before we even get to play the game, we just have to read the changelog.
It'll probably be more popular than the duck mining watch stream. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for this video, guys. Sorry if it was too long for you, but I mean, really, I don't know how we could have made it shorter.
15. It's version 50.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments of the video, guys. I'm sure you guys have a ton to say. This is super awesome. Can't wait. 3 more days. And until then, we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
See you later.